The Mose Knows podcast, hosted by Cory Mose, greatly appreciates you for tuning into this week's episode. Enjoy.
Good morning.
And good evening, beautiful people. Dion, a lot of energy from you today. I like that.
It's a good pod coming right now. We got a good one. This is going to be really good. With no guests, we got a banger prepared for y'all. So
yeah, it's just going to be me and Dion today. We're doing our thing. And so we're going to talk about multiple topics. Of course, Texas coming off of a win over Colorado State. Now is the week, right? Going against Michigan, up in the big house in Ann Arbor. And a lot of the conversation is 100,000 people versus 100. That's the narrative that Texas is bringing up north. And so we're going to be talking about that later on in the pod. We're also going to be talking about NFL first week, baby. We are here. Football is in full swing. And so we're going to dive into some of our NFL pick'ems from this week. Dion and I, we're doing a little competition, doing a little contest to see who has the better record by the end of the year and discussing what the spread's going to look like, who's going to cover, who's not going to cover. So we're going to talk about that as well. But then also we had a big time fantasy draft this week, as I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals that are listening in right now, y'all also had a lot of fantasy drafts as well. And so Dion and I, we were able to have one in the same league, Dion's league. Thank you for setting it all up, Brody. Yeah.
Season, man. I love the fantasy season, man. I'm not a football guy, but fantasy just gets me going, man. It's fun. I'm glad that we started this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I gave you so much headaches during the draft that we're going to talk about it, I guess, in our weeks. Well, let's just get into it, right? Let's just talk about the draft, man. How you think your draft went?
According to Yahoo, I was.
What Yahoo tell you, bro?
According to Yahoo, I'm gonna put it on the screen what they said, but according to them, I had a terrible draft. They said I'm bound to finish. I think they said I'm bound to finish with like 2 wins.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So they're disrespecting the squad. It'd be funny every year getting that message after the draft. But yeah, I did it different this year. I drafted on my laptop. Just wanted to get that vibe of, we playing for. I put in $100, so I'm gonna start be a little bit more professional. Be able to type in and research a little bit while I'm on the draft board. It was a good experience. I did have a mishap where I auto drafted Christian Kirk. He's not a bad player. I just feel like there were some better people at that time. But I'm gonna put my team up here on the screen. I have a pretty decent squad. I like it. Got Caleb Williams. I think he's gonna go crazy for me. AJ. I think DJ Moore. As you know, if you didn't know, last year he went crazy in fantasy. He had 1 week where he went crazy with like 60 points. So
I didn't start him that week.
I remember. I remember
it was Thursday Night Football. I remember the time, the date. I remember where I was at. I was so pissed, bro. Yeah, so pissed. But continue.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm gonna play. He's gonna play every week for me. So hopefully he goes off for me. My running backs is I got Derrick Henry and Stevenson. I don't know. Hopefully, fingers crossed there. But yeah, I got a solid squad. I think I did a good draft. I'm getting better at this drafting thing, I think. So yeah, I think
Yahoo don't think so.
Yeah, they don't think I like to prove them wrong every year because last year they said I was going to finish the same way. End up making the playoffs. So there's that.
Talk your stuff.
Shout out Adam Thielen. So yeah, as me not being a real football guy and now knowing, I guess you can say how to draft a little bit. It feels good. But yeah, this year I'm really confident. I think again we're going to the playoffs. But every year with fantasy, it just depends on how the injury bugs start.
Who gets injured, who doesn't. Waiver wire weeks 1 and 2, very important. You gotta get on the waiver wire for whoever that breakout guy is, like Puka Nacua last year. But speaking about your squad though, Dion, I like the Caleb Williams, DJ Moore connection. I will say that. I think that can do some numbers.
I think it's always important to get a quarterback and a receiver on the same team. So that was the one I was scouting and hoping that nobody would have sniped Caleb from me, and I'm like, damn. But yeah, I think he's probably gonna have a breakout year, a crazy year. So hopefully fantasy wise it translates as well. So.
Yeah, I see you got Adonai as well. Shout out.
Yeah. Some random advice I got.
Oh, random, huh? Crazy.
Random advice I got, from somebody told me to draft him. He said he might be a good pick. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, my receivers right now, I don't know if I can work them in, but injuries happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
gotta have depth.
It's always good to have a good backup there. But yeah, I think this team will be nice. We're betting on some rookies. My running back depth is. I think that's probably where I'll get hurt the most. But with fantasy, you can't have everything. So
yeah,
you got to have something to bank on. I think my receivers will get it done for me, and hopefully Caleb is a 25, 30 point guy every week.
Every week's crazy.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully
he's a mobile quarterback. Those guys are, valuable in the league. So we'll see. What about yourself? How would you grade your draft?
Well, Yahoo graded it pretty well. Yahoo said I had the best draft. So I'm supposed to finish first in our league. And so we'll see how that plays out. But, I did my thing. You know what I'm saying? Got my boy out in Houston, CJ Stroud, to run the ship for us. And then Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? Solid wide receiver 1, Mike Evans. And then Christian McCaffrey. Now, funny story behind McCaffrey, right? God. Yeah, funny story behind McCaffrey. So, wow. I kid you not, Dion, listen to this. My boy Colson, he had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. First time doing fantasy football in our league. And so he calls me up like 10 minutes before the draft saying, bro, I got the number 1 pick. Do I go Bijan or do I go Christian McCaffrey? I say, honestly, bro, probably Christian McCaffrey. Like, I think he's a safer pick. If I were you, I would do that. Now, mind you, when I gave him this information, I had no idea I had the number 2 pick. I hadn't logged in yet. So I had no idea I had the number 2 pick. So, kid you not, bro, I go to HEB because I was going to pick up my little grocery order, curbside, shout out. And so I lose connection to the Yahoo draft. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm fumbling around trying to get connection back. Can't get it. Finally log in. We're already past the number 2 pick. We're past number 3 pick. We're on pick 7 when I log back in. And so I'm like, no way, bro. No way. And I look at like, who the heck did I draft at number 2? Look at my roster. See, I got Christian McCaffrey. I'm like,
this guy.
What just happened? How'd I get CMC? I called Colson. He's like, yeah. Everybody I called told me to pick McCaffrey, but
wait,
I picked Bijan instead.
Oh my God!
So I'm like, say less. I'll take McCaffrey. If you don't want him, I'll take him. Say less. So yeah, bro, that's how I ended up with McCaffrey. I didn't like plan it that way. I told him to take McCaffrey, and he didn't. He didn't listen to anybody apparently. So thank you for his headstrongness, I guess you should say. I guess he's the smartest person in the room. But yeah, I got McCaffrey, my running back 2, Rachaad White. Shout out Tampa Bay. Tight end scares me though. I got Kyle Pitts. You know how Kyle Pitts has been. Yeah, he has Kirk Cousins though, so we'll see if his career can go on an upward slope. But he's already questionable. Already hamstring injury. Golly, like ain't even through week 1 yet. Already questionable.
Yeah, if you notice, Cory took an injury field roster off the jump. So
all right, bro.
We'll see how
flex though. Flex is Rashee Rice. You know what I'm saying? And then my other flex, we got 2 flexes in this league. Aaron Jones. And so I don't know what he's going to do in Minnesota, but he has no competition, so we'll go with him. But got a couple sleepers for later in the year. Nick Chubb on the PUP list right now, but he should be healthy as the year goes on. So just in case, running backs don't pan out, I got Chubb in the waiting as he gets healthy. Also got TJ Hawkinson waiting in line at tight end in case Kyle Pitts doesn't work out. He's also on the PUP list, but once they get healthy, bro, week 6, week 7, watch out for my team, bro. They're going to be solid. They're going to be solid.
So. It's sad because I literally was typing in Chubbs' name thinking, oh, yeah, they probably forgot about him. Nobody's thinking about him. And as I'm typing in CHU, ding, I said, there's no way. I think that happened for like 3 players, like back to back. And I'm like, yo, is somebody hacking my computer? Am I not as smart as I think I am? I'm over here thinking like, oh yeah.
No one knows
yeah,
this guy.
I'm a genius. I'm rubbing my hands. Nah, yeah. didn't work out that way.
But you got a decent squad though, bro. You got a decent squad.
Yeah, I will say with our league, I think I think every game's gonna be competitive. Like I said, we'll see how the injury bug starts to kick in, but I think every game is gonna be competitive. Of course, you're gonna have those weeks where just some random guy goes off for 35, 40 on a Monday, late Monday night game. You know what I mean?
Think the game's over.
Yeah,
think you already got the dub.
Think your week is good. And then, you know what I mean? So we'll see. I think this league is going to be very competitive. I love having a 10-man league and not a 12-man. Because, boy, I remember the one year we did a 12-man league. There's no waiver. Whoever you draft is your team. So I'm excited for my first week matchup. It says I'm predicted to lose. It says I'm supposed to lose by 5 points. Funny enough, I'm playing Colson. As you can see, his team right here. Got it on the screen. Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, tough first week, but I've seen crazier things happen. So, Cory, what about yourself? What about your first week matchup? You think you're going to pull it out? You think you're going to win?
Man, I got to go get Zed, bro. I'm not going to lie. Zed got a nice squad. I'm not going to lie to you. And the worst part about it is that a lot of his players I have in different leagues. And this is why I hate doing multiple leagues, because my mental health is not good when I have multiple leagues. So he has Anthony Richardson. I have him in a different league. He has Jahmyr Gibbs. He has Tank Dell as well. So all these guys I have in a different league. So I'm like, I hope you do well, but I also don't hope you do well. So yeah, big time matchup. He got some dogs though. Like, we're projected to get the same score. So, and I think he's projected to finish second or third in our league. Yeah. So big time week one matchup with Zed and I, bro. So yeah, I'm excited. Definitely excited. No trash talk. I'm not a big trash talker. So
how many leagues are you in? Just 2?
I'm in 3.
Got you.
I got a league that I've done with my homies since like 6th grade, bro. Like, and it's the same squad. I think we added one guy, but like ever since like 6th grade, bro, we all been rocking with the same league. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We used to go to my homie Carson's house. His mom would have Hot Pockets, you know, or no, not Hot Pockets, pizza rolls for us, and do like a whole thing. We'll have the big draft board. Man, and like put it up there. Yeah, dude, it's the whole thing.
One of these days, when we get some money, I want us to all fly out and draft like some old men. So that'll definitely be a vibe. I'm only in 2 leagues. This is like my big money league, quote unquote big money, and then my other league is my smaller money league. So we'll see how it goes in that one. That team is. Yahoo said I drafted well in the other league, so we'll see. Okay. We'll see what happens. I think they predict I'm going to be in like 3rd place. But yeah, look, fantasy season is fun.
Let's move into some college talk though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Cause you're speaking about expectations week 1. Well, we got a lot of things found out in week 1 with Texas as they played Colorado State, blew them boys out 52-0. It wasn't even close from the get-go, right? First possession, you could just tell Texas was more physical. Texas was faster. Texas was focused in week 1. Compared to some other schools, if you look around the nation, there were some blunders like Oregon. They kind of looked shaky a little bit. Michigan looked a little shaky. Of course, Florida State, I think they're crumbling. I don't think it's shaky no more. I think it's falling down fast.
Yeah, when the memes start, man, it's all
Are you going to Circle K, bro? You getting yourself a Polar Pop? Just like DJU, man. Just like DJU. Nah, bro.
No, sir.
I bet their sales are going down the drain after getting that NIL deal. Jeez. But yeah, so a lot of questions around the nation with some of the top schools that were expected to be really good this year. But for Texas, that wasn't the case. They came out and handled business against a really good Colorado State squad, right? Let's not take anything away from them. They were one of the most prolific passing offenses last season. They retained their biggest weapons in the quarterback and the wide receiver, and they got shut down against Texas. And so that's going to be something to look forward to this week against Michigan. But yeah, Dion, it was a sight to see in week 1.
Did you learn anything? I mean, you know, like I say, it was a pretty dominant win. But did you learn anything new from, this victory?
I think the question going into week 1 was 2 things, right? Can you stop the run without Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy in the middle? I don't think we found that out in week 1 just because it's Colorado State. How much can you really dwell into that. But I will say this week against Michigan, that is going to be something that you're going to find out about this Texas team, is the loss of those two guys that are now in the NFL going to be impactful in the defensive run game. And so we'll find that out on Saturday. But what I found out last Saturday was they can run between the tackles. I mean, I think a lot of questions with CJ Baxter getting hurt, like who's going to be the power back, who's going to run between the tackles. And Coach Sarkisian, he had no questions about it in the press conference leading up to week 1. He said, bro, like I know how to run the football. Like I know how to scheme that way, no matter who's in the backfield. And Jaden Blue, people think he's a speed guy, but remember we talked about it last week. He put on 12 pounds of muscle eating straight steak and red beans and rice. That's what he told us. So shout out Popeyes. I wonder where you got the red beans and rice from.
Sounds like a great diet.
Yeah, great diet. I can do that. Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, so he kind of proved to me like, yeah, he can run between the tackles and still make explosive plays, which is super exciting. But also, I was shocked by backup running back Trey Wisner, the way he was also able to run through the tackles. And he actually scored Texas's first touchdown of the year. And it's a kid from DeSoto. A lot of people were talking about like him being a receiving back, you know, something more like a scat back type. But he proved that he can run between the middle of the A and B gap as well. So, yeah, excited about that run game for it to be so successful. Like I said, even though it's against Colorado State, it's still something you like to see, though, that they can move the ball against a team that you're expected to move the ball against. So, yeah, that's what I kind of found out about this team. A lot of more answers will be this week, though, against Michigan, against a top-tier defense, especially within that middle of that defensive line. Can you run between the tackles against Michigan? That's going to be a different test compared to Colorado State, but I still think they can get it done.
Speaking of Michigan, it says, if I'm reading this correctly, they got Texas as a favorite. They got them as a 7.5 favorite.
Crazy, bro.
Over-under at 42.5. So they're predicting it's going to be somewhat of a shootout. Or not a shootout, but three. Yeah, somewhat of a. They're going to score about 3 or 4 touchdowns each. Yeah. Somewhere around there. Is that what you're thinking? Are you thinking there's going to be a defensive battle? Do you think there's going to be a shootout? How do you feel about that line?
Well, first off, the line is funny because over the summer, the line was minus 3.5 for Texas. So you can tell how much the factor of week 1. Man, that played a huge factor because Texas looked really good, I should say, and Michigan didn't. And so now you're seeing the lines move because of that initial week 1 matchup. And so, yeah, I think the line is weird, though, because 7.5 is a lot of points. And everyone's talking about now they're on the Texas train, right?
Yeah,
they're on the Texas bandwagon
after week 1.
All the national media is on the Texas bandwagon now. Crazy enough.
Tell them who was on the bandwagon first.
Bro, we was on that mother first, bro. On God, we was talking about Texas since the summer, bro. Just go back to Mose Knows episode 20, episode 15. We've been talking about it. But it's cool. It's cool. National media's caught up. They now see what we've been saying. Because guess what, Dion? We're on the ground. We're boots on the ground. We see every single day like what's going on with this team. So, of course, we knew what was up. People just got to listen. But anyways, I digress. Yes, Texas is 7.5 point favorites. That's a lot of points, I will say, especially against a team that just won a national championship, was in the playoff for the past 3 years. Sarkisian mentioned that on Monday. Like, look, we may be favorites, but let's not forget who the Wolverines are, right? Texas, that's one thing that I will say this week. I got to give them props for it. They have continued to say, we respect Michigan. We think that they are a top-tier program. We have so much. We want to acknowledge that they are the reigning champs. We want to acknowledge that they've been in the playoffs the past 3 years. They're not just going to let us come into Ann Arbor and terrorize their defensively. They're not going to let us come into Ann Arbor and put up 50 points in the big house. Like, they understand that Michigan is a top-tier program. And so they've said that multiple times. So respect to them for not having any type of controversy when it comes to bulletin board material. But at the end of the day, like, Texas did look very, very good on week 1. And so I would say I don't think they cover. I think they win by a touchdown. I do think that. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Yeah, I think they win by a touchdown.
0.5, man.
That 0.5 gets you every time. 0.5 gets you every time, dude. I swear. But yeah, this is what I think is going to happen. And this is what I feel like Michigan wants to happen. They want it to be a controlled, not a high scoring game, not a shootout, because they understand their offense isn't capable of keeping up with Texas if it is a shootout. What they want to do is run the football so they can control the clock and get stops. That's all Michigan wants to do against Texas. Get them off the field on third down, get the ball back, and keep Quinn Ewers and company off the field by running the football with Donovan Edwards and running the clock so they can get less possessions. I expect each team to have around like 60 to 65 plays throughout this game, just because the clock is going to be constantly ticking as Michigan runs the football. And so that's why I also don't think that 7.5 point favorites is going to accumulate to that, because I just think it's going to be a closer game because there's less possession for each team. So yeah, I think it's going to be a hard, like physical, grimy type game. It's going to be one within the trenches, linebackers, D-line, O-line. That's the battle to look for, because that's the game against Michigan. You got to win in the trenches if you're going to beat them, and that's where they're strong at. And so, yeah, that's going to be a big test for Texas, even though they have a lot of experience up front on the offensive and defensive line. But that's what I kind of expected this game to go, is just to grind it out and see who flinches first. So I will say this, though, Dion. There's one guy to look out for, and that's Davis Warren, the quarterback from Michigan. His story is crazy, by the way. If you look up his story, he, first off, is a preferred walk-on. And so he kind of had to wait his turn. I think his freshman year, he won like Team Scout Player of the Year for the team. And so he was balling on the scout team, apparently. But then just kind of waited his turn behind J.J. McCarthy and Alex Orji. And now he had a chance to start as a Michigan Wolverine quarterback. And he actually battled through leukemia in his past, bro. Like, his story is phenomenal. And so much so that fellow walk-on for Texas, Michael Taft, he talked about his story, Davis Warren's story, about like, we respect him not only as a player for just being a walk-on and becoming a starter for a historic program, but also Taft spoke about the journey of coming back from leukemia and how much that not only impresses Taft, but low-key inspires him too.
Young quarterback, former walk-on, does that give you a huge advantage? Can you confuse him?
His story is incredible. I have so much respect for that quarterback, number 16, because of his story, not just a walk-on, but what he's faced, the adversity that he's gone through in his personal life. And, man, if I was in his position, the only thing that would be on my mind is quitting and taking care of my own health. And so I have a lot of respect for that guy. And, it's kind of like people ask me, how did you not get too many scholarships? You were defensive MVP 2 years in a row. I probably asked that about him, like, how did he not get more scholarships? Because what you see on film is not a former walk-on. He's a really good player, and so I respect that guy like no other.
Yeah, so clearly, first off, Michael Taft, right? Outstanding young man. Every time we talk to him, he just has a soundbite that's just like, wow, thought-provoking. Love that. But yeah, I just love the way that he pays respect, but he also knows that, like, Davis Warren got to his position for a reason, because he worked his butt off to be there. So what'd you take away from that, Dion?
Yeah, like you say, you can tell not only him, but I'm sure other people in the Texas locker room, and really just college football in general, they respect him in his journey. So, it's gonna probably be dope to see him. They had like you say, they may not have an impressive week one, but they still won. And so you can't do nothing but just take your hat off to Warren, Davis Warren. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he goes against a really good defense in Texas. Does he look shaky? Does he look worried? Kind of like how Jalen Milroe looked last year in week 2 against Texas. A lot of Jalen Milroe that we saw against Texas was not the same Jalen Milroe that we saw at the end of the year, right? Like, completely different quarterback. Texas literally just let him throw the football in week 2. It's like, look, beat us without your legs and see what happens. And he couldn't. But now as the year went on, he progressed, he developed, and that game against Texas was so big for him. And the way he needed to improve, he found out in week 2. And so maybe this is the same situation with Davis Warren, right? Like, he has a good team around him, but when you go against a team like Texas, defensively, who's flying around now, who's having a lot of physicality at linebacker, they're bringing a punch in the secondary when they put a hat on the football. And so now, Davis, what do not know about yourself that you're going to find out in week 2 against Texas. That's what I'm excited to see up in Ann Arbor. But I'm also excited to see the atmosphere, Dion. Like, the Big House is such a historic stadium. And so Sark kind of talked about it on Monday in the sense of it's going to be 100,000 people versus 100, which means like the roster of Texas and like the coaching staff, right, versus the whole stadium. And so that's an environment that I feel like this team thrives in now. Like, I remember last year against TCU, they came out, Texas did, big old boombox, you know what I'm saying, jamming, going crazy. Everyone's booing, everyone's doing the horns down. They don't give a rip, bro. They're saying yell louder. They love being the villain, I feel like. And so with that type of environment, yeah, it's a culture, bro. They love they love being hated, right? And so I even like, let's think about Dylan Dessou when he came on the pod a couple weeks ago. He mentioned that, like up in Oklahoma and beating Oklahoma at OU as everyone's doing horns down. He loves that. He loved that moment. And so I think the football players enjoy it too. When everyone's saying F you or F Texas, like, okay, we're going to shut you up. And so listen to the way they talk about the culture now of Texas as they go into these type of environments when it's 100,000 versus 100. What do you like about these type of games, though? 100,000 versus y'all.
Yeah.
Down.
I mean, you hit it right on the head. It's kind of like our team versus the whole stadium at that point. We'll have some fans there, obviously, but it's kind of that feeling of our backs against the wall, and now we got to come out swinging forward. No going right, left. You have to go straight through.
It leads to our culture. You know, Coach Sark's been so big on culture. In games like this, you really see where culture comes into play.
We always say be enamored with us, and, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's always going to be crowd noise, all that, but, you know, we're just focused on each other and making sure we don't fail each other.
You always look forward to walking in and being a villain. You know, it's kind of different feeling when you don't have your home fans, but as a team, we know that we have to bring the juice ourselves, and we have to be locked in and dialed in together.
You said it right there. It's just us. So that's why we built the culture that we have, and why Coach Sark is just so big on all that stuff. It's just for these type of away games.
Like you said, 100,000 to 100. Can these 100 guys band together, trust each other, love each other enough to go out there and do their assignment to not let the other guy down? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, just listen to those guys talk, bro. I'm so excited for this game. But anyways, it's going to be a crazy environment, and I think this team's going to be ready for it. So a lot of things to look out for. Like I said, can Texas run between the tackles against 2 top-tier defensive tackles? Also, great secondary for Michigan. They got arguably the best corner in the nation. So can Quinn Ewers utilize all the new receivers that he has like he did in week 1 and manage to move the ball down the field through the air against that secondary? And then lastly, of course, like I mentioned earlier in the pod, can Texas stop the run? Or is it going to be a question of, with T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy being gone, how do they fill the whole of those losses? That's going to be something we're going to figure out on Saturday. But I will say this, though. When it comes to this matchup, Dion, people won't think I'm crazy for saying this, but this game doesn't matter.
Hot take.
This game doesn't matter. This game doesn't matter at all. Like, if we're being honest, if we're looking at the broad scope.
It doesn't matter to who and what context. What do you mean?
It doesn't matter to either team. I think at the end of the day, with this new playoff format, right? If you lose this game, if you win this game, there's still a lot of football left to play. A whole bunch of football. Texas can lose this matchup and still win the SEC. Like, that is still a possibility. They can lose this matchup and still make it to the college football playoff. Still could host a playoff game. Still could get a bye in the college football playoff if they lose this game against Michigan, if they run the table in the SEC afterwards. And so that's why I feel like this game doesn't mean anything. I heard, who was it, Joel Klatt, say something on Colin Cowherd's show today. And he mentioned, you know, Texas has so much expectations now, and there's so much pressure on Texas because they're considered to be a national championship contender. And if they lose this game, the fan base is going to be disappointed, and it's going to be such a letdown. I don't think that's true. I think if Texas loses this game, it does depend on how they lose, right? Mm-hmm. If Michigan goes out there and runs for 350 yards and terrorizes that defensive line for Texas and that front seven, and now we're asking, how the heck do you stop a run? You can't even stop the nosebleed. Like, that's kind of something that I feel like fans will start to get worried about. But if it's a 7-point game and let's say Quinn can't go down the field and score a touchdown and Michigan gets a big time stop on 4th down and game's over. Okay, cool. Chalk it up. Like, you learn, you grow, you see where you went wrong. It was a close fight.
And then they put
and then you get better. You said, shut up.
Come on, man. Quinn couldn't go down there? What? Arch.
Look, the national media will be screaming for Arch for sure. But I don't think anyone in Austin really is going to be screaming for Arch. I think everyone kind of knows this is just a stepping stone. Now, I will say this, though. Last year, that Alabama game in week 2 was important to get the win because it gave the team belief that they can achieve greatness, right? I think they already believe that now, so they don't need that added boost. If they were to beat Michigan on Saturday, I think what that does for this team is give them confidence for Georgia. I don't think it gives them confidence for the rest of the year. I think it gives them confidence for Georgia. Georgia is the matchup that if they beat that team, that gives them that added boost of, oh man, we can be great this year. I don't think this Michigan game gives them that added boost. I think it just more so solidifies what we kind of already know about this team. They're fast, they're physical, and they're really, really experienced. And so with all those fast factors, they're going to be a really good football team in the college landscape. And so, yes, this game is a historic game. It's a great atmosphere game. College game day is going to be there. 100,000 people in the big house. First time, I think, ever that Texas is going to be playing in the big house in the regular season game. So, like I said, atmosphere-wise, it's historic. But for the game itself, it doesn't really matter. And so, yes, I think it's going to be cool to see these two teams go against each other. But if Texas loses a close one, so what? You look at the tape, you learn, you grow, and you get ready for SEC play. And that's all Sark wants to do with this matchup is learn a little bit more about his team that you didn't figure out in week 1.
Bet, bro. Let's get it. Let's get to these picks.
Oh, man. NFL, baby. Week 1. Can you believe it's already here? First off, you got to pick a team, Dion. I know you're not a Cowboys fan. I know you're not a Texans fan, but I need you to pick at least one team. You're a Cowboys fan?
I'm a Cowboys fan. Like, I'm locking it in this year, baby. I am a Cowboys fan. I cannot wait to see what they do because they're going to make the playoffs, and I cannot wait. I can't wait to see how they mess it up. Oh, my gosh.
Whoa, yo, they don't talk like that. Cowboys fans don't talk like that.
Oh, I can't wait to see what they do in the first round of the playoffs.
You probably say you're making the Super Bowl, bro.
But if I had to pick a team that I actually think is going to make the Super Bowl...
I just want you to pick one team that you're going to ride with for the rest of the year. Like, just be a fan with. Because if y'all don't know, Dion's a basketball guy. He loves the NBA. He loves the WNBA. He's getting into football a little bit more. And I'm proud of him for doing that because football is amazing. It's probably the best sport out there. But
debatable. If I had to pick one, I think I'm going to rock with I'll go rock with Lamar, man.
Okay, ball.
I'll go rock with Lamar. Lamar and Derrick Henry. Let's see if they can get over that hump. And get this Taylor Swift out of here. So, yeah, I'll go rock with Lamar.
Say less. All right, book it, stamp it. Dion is now a Ravens fan for the rest of the football season. I like it. Hey, chant? You got a nice little squad, bro.
What's their chant? Go Birds, go.
I think so. I don't know. That doesn't sound right though.
I think that's the Eagles.
Go Bird. No, Eagles is fly. Eagles fly.
Oh shoot. I'm gonna figure it out next pod. Hey, I got y'all. I got Baltimore. Dude, stupid. You locked in, baby.
Oh my gosh, but yes, bro. Let's go into these picks. So just to give some context for us, so Dion and I, we're doing this contest with what's it called? SeatGeek? No, Sports Geek. Yeah,
Sports Geek. Shout out Sports Geek, man.
Yeah, shout out Sports Geek. Doing this contest where we're picking the spreads or whatever, who we think's going to cover, who we think's not going to cover, and so we had to pick a multitude of games. And this is my first time doing a pick'em. I don't do it usually. I'm not a real big pick'em guy. I've never done it actually. I only do fantasy football, so this is my first time doing it. So I'm just going to go through kind of who I pick for each matchup, Dion, and you can stop me whenever if you want to chime in. But I'm just giving my picks for week 1, give a little bit of reasoning behind each one, some slight, and then we'll just rock it like that. So the first matchup that we're going to go to, Patriots versus Bengals. I think the whole Jamar Chase situation is scary to me. He came to practice today as of Wednesday. Don't know if he's going to actually practice, though. He's there. He's in attendance. He's dressed out, but still don't know if he's going to practice. And not being on the field with Joe Burrow, with this added amount of time and timing wise, like, I don't know, that scares me. And so the spread is 8.5. I think Patriots cover. I think their defense is good. Without, of course, Matthew Judon getting traded over to Atlanta, and Bill Belichick being gone, that's a big loss. But I don't know. It's week 1. Offenses usually start out slow in week 1. So going Patriots. Next matchup, Atlanta versus Pittsburgh. I picked Atlanta's going to cover. 2.5-point favorites. I think they win by at least a field goal. Bijan and the boys, first game with Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Pittsburgh's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, can't trust them.
Danger witch.
Can't trust them.
Yeah, and if you have struggles with Russell, you throw in Justin Fields, who can't keep the ball. So, yeah, I like Atlanta having a nice little show out in week 1 to cover that 2.5. Then Cardinals versus Bills. I like Cardinals covering that 6.5-point underdog. Yeah, Dirty Bird. Yeah,
I can see that. I see that.
Yeah, I think Kyler and the boys got something. I think they got something.
I want to see that tandem of him and Marvin Harrison. I think they're gonna probably, because I probably feel like they're plus. Oh, so they're the underdogs. Yeah, so I think for sure if we have an upset of the week, I guess I would pick them. I think I would pick them.
I'm not a big Buffalo guy this year. I think this is the year where we see the fall off. They're switching personnel a little bit, so you're going to see a lot more 21 personnel with Buffalo, I feel like, with these 2 tight end sets. Of course, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox together, James Cook in the backfield. They lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis. They tried to replace him with Keon Coleman and a couple signings like Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And so, yeah, I just don't. Why you laugh, bro? How you laugh? MVS, bro. He a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, but I just remember him dropping that pass. So. That's all I remember.
Same. And so also big time loss in their defense in Matt Milano, starting with middle linebacker. Second straight year they're not going to have him. He's on IR right now. And so not having your leader in the defense is going to play a big factor, I feel like, throughout the season. And so that's why I say Cardinals covered that 6.5-point spread. And then Texans versus Colts. You already know I got to go with the Stroud and the boys. You know what I'm saying? Texans are 2.5-point favorites. It should be 6.5-point favorites. But, yeah, Texans just have too much firepower. I think the Colts secondary, they're not good. Their front seven's good, right? I'm going to pay respects to Indianapolis. Their linebackers and D-line is good. Anthony Richardson, he balled out when he was healthy last year. So, yeah, shout out to them. But I just think Stroud is going to they're going to put up too many points against Indianapolis. So I got the Texans winning that one by more than 2.5. And then Miami versus Jacksonville. Miami is 3.5-point favorites. I think they cover that. The reason why is because, man, first off, no drama this offseason with the contracts. If you look around the league, Cowboys, right? San Francisco, heck, Cincinnati. I just talked about Jamar Chase still not signed. Out in New York with the Jets, Hassan Reddick, he's holding out. But when it came to Miami, they got their contracts done pretty early. Tua got signed. Tyreek Hill got extended. Mike McDaniel got a new contract. And so I feel like them handling all their stuff early in the offseason to give them time to work on these plays, to work on timing, to work together as a team at practice instead of people holding out. I think that's going to play a factor in week 1. And so, yeah, I got Miami covering that 3.5-point right there. And then this may be the worst game of the week, bro.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, yeah, for sure.
This may be the worst game of the week, bro. Minnesota going to New York to face the Giants. The Vikings are a 1.5-point favorites.
1.5 is funny as crap.
Yeah, 1.5-point favorites. I really don't give a rip about this game. I honestly think the Giants are arguably the worst team in the league. Maybe second worst behind the Patriots. I don't know. But I got the Vikings covering. I think they do win by more than 1.5 points. I just trust Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, and I trust Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's literally it.
I can't wait to see how Daniel Jones thinks it up, though. That's going to be...
Come on, man. He got paid all that money for $50 million quarterback.
I know. That makes it even more exciting to watch. Like, dang, you got paid a lot. Yeah, you like Ben Simmons. You get paid a lot to be garbage, you know? So, yeah, that's going to be fun to watch, man.
Hey, man, we'll see. He got Malik Neighbors now, right? LSU product. He's on one of my fantasy teams, so hopefully he just throws the ball to Malik Neighbors.
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully he can get the ball to him. That's the tough part about it. So we'll see. But
yeah. Well, next up, Carolina versus New Orleans. Carolina is 4.5-point underdogs. I think they cover. I think they covered the 4.5. I know that's crazy because Carolina looked horrible last year. I got them covering. I know you probably have a different outcome, so I want to get your thoughts.
I picked the Saints. I
Okay.
thought the defense of the Saints is always usually immaculate. And I think, hopefully, I mean, you just got to, fingers crossed, you just got to hope Derek Carr don't stink it up. Ever since he's been there, I mean, he's looked. But he has all the.
It smelled like the Bayou when he plays.
Yeah, he has all the weapons though. That's the bad part. Like you have everything you need to be decent, to not look bad. So we just gotta hope. Maybe that year last year, first year there, all year jitters. Maybe he got it out of his system.
All year jitters. All year. Our first start. All year jitters. That's hilarious.
He was banged up all last year, so we'll see. Hopefully he's healthy. Maybe he can figure it out. He got his Kamara should be playing all year, so you have a guy you can trust back there. So yeah, I'm hoping that they can figure that out, and yeah, we'll see what year 2 of Bryce Young is. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I get you there, and that's why I chose Carolina. Though on the flip side, what you mentioned, right? New Orleans has the same offense. They have a bunch of weapons, but Derek Carr still sucked. So what makes me think that he's going to be any better with the same weapons and the same offense? On the flip side, Carolina, they got more offense. They got weapons. Deontay Johnson comes over from Pittsburgh. Jatavian Sanders gets drafted. Of course, you have Xavier Legette got drafted. You know, man, what a soundbite he is every time he speaks to the mic. Every time he speaks. And you have a new head coach in Dave Canales who revived Baker Mayfield's career, right? And so can he do the same with Bryce Young? That's the question. And that's why I think they cover it. Just because it's the first game, there's no tape on Bryce. There's no tape on this offense yet. So I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I'm thinking like 13-10.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be one of those type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nasty games. But this should be a good one, though. Chicago versus Tennessee. A lot of unknowns. New offense for Tennessee. New whole regime in Chicago. I got Chicago covering. They're 4.5-point favorites. I think they win by more than 4.5. They have a great defense. They're returning that. Caleb Williams' debut, he wants to shine in his first NFL game. So he's a cocky son of a guy. So, I think he's going to try to perform at his best. And I just don't trust Will Levis. I mean, if it boils down to it, I don't trust Mayo, man. Like, I just don't think he's a NFL starting QB. He can prove me wrong, but until he does so, I need to see it. So, yeah, I think Chicago covers. You got something?
No, I got the same. I think it's going to be Caleb Williams' coming out party. I think he's going to go crazy. And fingers crossed for me. I need him and DJ Moore to go crazy. So, yeah, definitely hoping they cover that for sure.
Sounds good. And, next matchup, Denver versus Seattle. I got Denver, 5.5-point underdogs covering. I know that's kind of crazy, but you got Denver too?
No, I picked Seattle, but not thinking about it.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be another ugly game. So, I probably flipped that around and picked Denver.
5.5 is a lot of points, especially with the way Bo Nix looked in the preseason. I know you're not supposed to take everything from the preseason seriously because you're going against some vanilla defenses, and there's a lot of things that you really can't tell about if he's able to read these type of concepts. But at the end of the day, I trust Sean Payton. And I trust that he got the right guy for his system. And so I think Denver's going to be a lot better than what people think. I really do think so. I think Sean Payton has a guy now at quarterback that he trusts, that he can put in the right position to succeed. And Bo Nix, I mean, he looked good in the preseason. So we'll see if he can carry some of that over. And he's going back to the Pacific Northwest, right? Had a great time in Oregon last year. Now he's going back to Seattle in that area. So I'm sure he wants to make those fans proud out there. As he goes back. But also Chargers versus Raiders. I have Chargers covering the 3.5 points, right? Don't like that pick. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I didn't know what to go with this one.
That's crazy are the Raiders, are the Chargers not that good, or did the Raiders get better? I would have thought that was a little bit higher.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought the Raiders would be favorites, but the Chargers are favorites. So like that's the weird thing to me. And so, yeah, I don't really have faith in Gardner Minshew, but I kind of do at the same time, right? He's like,
yeah, he's on that tricky gray line where it's like he can play good enough to win a game.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be crazy. It's not gonna be nothing crazy, but he can play good enough that'll shock you. Like, oh, okay, yeah,
all right.
So, yeah, he's like a top 25, 30 guy, quarterback wise, like in the league. So yeah, it's like, oh, okay,
yeah, he's like top 30.
You're not trash, but yeah, you got a little something going on. You got a little something.
Gotta pay respect though. He was a Pro Bowler last year. You know, he was able to get the Colts in the position to nearly make the playoffs if it wasn't for a drop against Houston to end that game. And so, yeah, respect to Gardner. Now, how much was that Shane Steichen and his system? Mm-hmm. And how much was that Gardner Minshew? Well, we'll find out in week 1 as he's now the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. And so now moving on, Dallas versus Cleveland. I think this is the easy money pick, all right? We're going to book this one as get your bread, right? Get your bread with this line, Dallas versus Cleveland. I hope I don't look stupid after week 1 by saying that. But Dallas is 2.5-point underdogs to Cleveland. Now, mind you, they have to go to Cleveland, but it's, September. The weather's great. Also, CeeDee Lamb is back. He got his contract. You know, I spoke earlier about how the Dolphins got all their guys in camp early without the contract talks being an issue, so they were able to work together. I don't think CD really needed that with Dak. They've been working together for the past 4 or 5 years, so they know how the timing goes with each other. And so I trusted CD getting back a week before game 1. That's enough time for him to be on the same page as Dak. Also, this is Deshaun Watson's first game back since November, bro. Last November was the last time Deshaun Watson played in an NFL football game. He didn't play any preseason games because he had a sore shoulder. And so that also scares me because he's coming off an injury with his shoulder. So he's still recovering. He never played a game all preseason. And no one's really talking about it, Dion. Everyone was chirping about who's going to pay Dak, how much money CeeDee Lamb's going to get, is Micah Parsons going to get paid? But no one was talking about Cleveland. Now, mind you, it's Cleveland, so I understand why. But think about it, bro. Deshaun Watson hadn't played in nearly a year, and he's coming off a shoulder injury, and he's still feeling that shoulder injury, right? That's what kept him out of the preseason. So I think with the new defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer, in Dallas, the injuries with Deshaun, the injury with Nick Chubb, you know, no one's really talking about him not being healthy. I don't know how Cleveland's 2.5-point favorites.
They must be really banking on that defense, or they're banking on Dallas not having a running game. But yeah,
has to.
That is. I was shocked when that pulled up on my screen. I was like, maybe there's a typo. But yeah, all that money that you people stole from Chase. Cory saying, go put that on Dallas. Cause
yeah, go put that on. That boy said stole from Chase is crazy. That's a crazy hat going on, by the way.
Oh man, our generation, boy.
yeah, we love to get into stuff, don't we?
Our generation, yeah. But I was shocked. I'm shocked. Maybe Vegas knows something we don't know. But yeah, like you said, that seemed like too easy of a money pick. So we will.
Yeah,
see.
Go get your bread. Go get your bread, people.
See what that looks like. Next up, we got Washington and Tampa.
Tampa, baby, Washington versus the Buccaneers. I have the Bucs covering their 3.5-point favorites. And I think Baker Mayfield gets the job done. First game for Jaden Daniels and also Dan Quinn, new head coach over there in Washington. Speak about Cowboys, former DC for Dallas. Their first time in the league together, week 1 against a squad that made the playoffs last year. And they honestly went toe-to-toe with Detroit in that first round game. No one really talks about it, or second round, because they knocked out Philly in the first round. Tampa Bay did. And then they played Detroit in the second round. And Baker took them all the way to the wire. So they got everybody returning. Nobody's really gone. And so, yeah, I like Baker and the boys covering that 3.5 points. Next up, probably my favorite matchup of the week. That's a lie. Texans and Colts are my favorite matchup just because they've been talking trash all offseason. But second favorite matchup, Rams and Lions, right? I think, man, this is going to be great just because the storylines again. Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit, just like we had in the playoffs last year. Which, by the way, that was a 1-point game. That was a phenomenal game last year in the playoffs. But I think LA is going to be a lot better than what people think. I think no one's really talking about the Rams to be any type of championship contenders, even like playoffs. But they have Cooper Kupp, they have Puka Nacua, they got Matthew Stafford. I mean, what else you need to talk about? Those three can carry. And then you throw in Kyron Williams, who can run the football. Drafted Blake Corum. I'm a big Blake Corum guy. I think at some point in the season, you're going to see the former Michigan running back do his thing. I just think it's only time will tell because he's such a great runner. And so, yeah, I think that defense is going to be good. And I have them covering. They are 3.5-point underdogs, correct? To the Lions?
Yeah. I would agree with you, but they're going to be playing in Detroit, man.
Yeah, I know.
That boy Goff, when it's in the dome, when he got some cover over, when there's no sun out, I think I heard some stat. He was like, he went crazy. In a dome, he's like unstoppable. When he play outside, any type of breeze, a weather, a sun, his finger, I don't know, something wrong. Something happened with his fingers, but I would agree with you. But I think Detroit, since they're at the crib, I think they'll pull it out. I think they'll cover their 3.5 on their end.
Look, I hope so. Just because I got Jahmyr Gibbs on Amon-Ra, St. Brown. So I hope so too. And you're right, though. Jared Goff is a different player in the dome. It's kind of crazy how that works. It really is. But, to each its own. So you got Lions. I have Rams in that matchup. And lastly, San Francisco versus New York Jets. I got San Fran. They're 3.5-point favorites. And I just think that you're at home. Aaron Rodgers' first game back in a year. And also, the boys are back together, right? I listened to a soundbite from Jawan Jennings, wide receiver for 49ers, and he just talked about how he's great seeing everybody back in the locker room. All these contract talks all year long, all offseason long. Trent Williams, is he going to get re-signed? Brandon Ayuk, what's going on with him? Christian McCaffrey was hurt in the preseason. He had a calf strain, so he also wasn't really practicing that much. And so a lot of questions within that locker room about just 2 weeks ago, Dion. And now, fast forward to today, everyone's here, everyone's healthy, everyone's ready to go for week 1. And I think for a team that's coming off a Super Bowl and wants to actually get over the hump this year, this was a breath of fresh air to get this news that everyone's back in the building, especially even after Ricky Pearsall got shot. Like, that's another factor why I picked San Francisco. You have a guy get shot.
Yeah, great way to bring your team together. You don't want it to happen, but yeah, that's a great way to say, yeah, we're doing this for somebody.
Bro, did you hear Trent Williams?
I didn't get to hear the soundbite. No.
Bro. So he actually mentioned that. He said when he signed, when he came back, his first press conference back, he mentioned yeah, to be honest, the reason why I wanted to get this deal done faster is because I saw Ricky got shot. And so I just wanted to be in the locker room with them during this time and just try to pour into him because, when I came in the building 3 weeks ago at the beginning of training camp, I didn't know any of the guys. It's more players on the roster during training camp. And he said Ricky made an effort to go up to Trent Williams, say hey, man, really appreciate you for all you've done for this organization. Hope to learn a lot from you. Ricky's a rookie, so he's trying to learn, get some gems. And Trent Williams said that meant a lot to him to see a rookie take that step, come up to him, say how much he appreciates what he's done for the organization. And after seeing him get shot, it's man, I want to get back there so I can pour into that kid. So, I think that instance is a sad instance. I'm glad that he was able to survive. Crazy situation, too, because the bullet went through him and then out of him. No vital organs were hit. He was able to get out the hospital in 48 hours, or a couple hours, and he's now practicing 48 hours later. Crazy. Totally crazy. Life could have been over. But now, like you said, Dion, they have a story. They have something to rally behind. You want some type of motivation factor alongside of losing the Super Bowl last year.
Add on. Yeah, we going. They get that fire going.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of wood going into this fire right now, bro. It's getting heavy. So yeah, I just think they're going to be a machine week 1. They're going to prove all the doubters wrong that were talking all offseason about how they need to get their crap together. Is Brock Purdy the guy? Is Brandon Ayuk worth all that money? They're going to make a statement, I feel week 1 against the Jets. And so I got them covering at 3.5. But that's all the picks, bro. You said we had a couple we didn't agree on, but majority, you got the same ones?
Yeah, majority. I think there's only 2 or 3 that we don't agree on. But yeah, I'm glad we have a couple that we disagreed on. So at the end, I can know that, I beat you by 10, 15 games. You know what I'm saying? So
Here you go. Or you're talking trash. All right, get your final thought off, bro, before we get out of here.
Final thought is gonna have to be, I thought y'all wasn't getting 2K. I've been seeing a lot of y'all. What happened? What happened the last 2-3 months? What happened? I've been seeing a lot of y'all post y'all my player. Thought we were standing firm in the.
Hey, I ain't bought it yet.
We done with 2K. What happened? I'm seeing a lot of y'all. What's going on? I saw some of y'all had 3-day early access. Yeah, damn, y'all paid $200. Gee, what happened?
Dang.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. I knew y'all wasn't gonna stick in your word, but
hey, what's the definition of insanity?
Man, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Boys keep buying the game.
Yeah,
Boys keep buying the game.
Pre-ordering it too. That's even crazy. But yeah, that's my final thought, man. I knew y'all boys was lying. I knew y'all boys was capping. I'm probably gonna get 2K, but it's gonna be All-Star break, March, April. So yeah, what's your final thought?
Final thought. I think my final thought. Shout out Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I think that what's going on in the W right now. I hate that it's in the middle of like it's at not the middle, but the beginning of football season, right? And so everyone's talking about football, but literally Caitlin Clark is doing crazy numbers. She just won not rookie of the month, player of the month for the whole Western Conference, or Eastern Conference. Don't know what conference Indiana's in. I think they should be Eastern, huh? According to geographically.
Yeah, I think it's Eastern.
Okay, I think it's Eastern. Yeah, but she just won Player of the Month for the conference, and so she's been balling ever since the Olympic break. And actually, yeah, let's dive into this real quick. Let me get this off because a lot of people got pissed off because people were saying it's good that Caitlin Clark didn't make the Olympic team because now she had a chance to rest. She didn't have to be in front of cameras, and guess what? She can work on her game. And everyone's like, "Oh no, she needs to be playing for Team USA. I'm not gonna watch. Whoop-de-whoop. Cool, bro. Look at her now, though. Look at Caitlin Clark now. She has now developed a floater. She's able to be with her teammates. They just flow better now. I like how Aaliyah Boston has grown with Caitlin. Kelsey Mitchell continues to be a dog for this team. Yes. They also have a couple pickups. What's up, D?
They played my wings, bro. I was not familiar with Kelsey Mitchell's game, but boy.
Bro, she a bucket, bro.
Damn, man. We needed these wins to try to get in the playoffs. And I checked the box score. I'm like, Kelsey Mitchell? I thought they just had Caitlin.
Yeah. What? Yeah. No, they got Kelsey Mitchell is, fun fact, she's third all time in college scoring. It's Caitlin, it's Sabrina. No, it's Caitlin, it's Kelsey Plum, and then it's Kelsey Mitchell in the all-time scoring list for college basketball for women's. And so she's a dog, bro. Like, she's a dog. She gets buckets. And so I think her pairing with Caitlin Clark, I don't think people understood, like, when they first started this season, like, the effects that may help out Kelsey to getting her open, getting her more open looks. And now you have a point guard who can actually give her the ball on time to do spot-up threes. But, man, she has looked phenomenal alongside Caitlin Clark in that backcourt. And I honestly think, like, with the way they're gelling, they could make a run, bro. Like, they really can make a run in the playoffs. And maybe we see them in the Final Four. Maybe we see them making it to the conference championship, just because right now they're beating teams that are good and beating them pretty convincingly. And so, yeah, Caitlin Clark, she needed that Olympic break to get better, to grow, to develop with her teammates, and for her teammates to develop with her, right? And get that rapport down without the national media attention, without all the cameras around her. Just bunker down and get better, and that's exactly what they did. And you can see the effects of it now. But man, it's just so great to see her and Angel Reese continue to do that. Angel Reese breaking the WNBA record for most rebounds in the season, not just for a rookie, but just all time for any player for a season. I think that's super dope too for Angel to do that. And she's starting her own podcast to talk her stuff. So I can't wait to listen and see what she's going to say during that. Unapologetically Angel. That is such a hard word to say, Dion. I will say that.
I just wonder what I don't know if I want to hear from her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Why not?
I just feel like she already has critics. Mm-hmm. I feel like year one of your WNBA career where they're talking about your game, I just don't think it's time yet. I don't feel like you've solidified yourself in your craft yet to start the pod. I feel like once you can solidify yourself in your craft, like, yeah, I'm gonna be in this league. I'm one of them. Go ahead, you know what I mean? But year one, when you just not establishing yourself, I feel like it's a little early. That's like if you were to start your pod as soon as you went to Midland. It's like, damn, hold on, brother. Hold on, slow your roll, brother. Slow your roll.
Do your time a little bit.
Just to piggyback off of that, my actual final thought, and I'm glad you reminded me. I hate you damn resellers. I don't think I will ever see Caitlin Clark play live because I tried to get tickets to the game that she played here in Dallas against my Wings. Tell me why these tickets were $100 to $8,000. And yes. And I went to a game either the day before or 2 days before when they played the Lynx. I bought my ticket for $10. I bought my ticket for $10.
So wait, so you're telling me same spot? You bought the tickets for $10 the week before.
Yes.
And then Caitlin Clark is in town. The same spot is going for $8K.
That same spot I was at was like $400.
Oh my god.
To sit courtside was like $8,000.
Oh my god.
At the College Park Center.
Shout out Mavericks.
The school that me and Cory went to. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. I hate
Caitlin Clark effect, bro. Caitlin Clark effect.
And mind you, I'm probably gonna go to the game on Tuesday that they play against the New York Liberty. And I bet you those tickets will be on sale for $10. Like you say, now that football season's on, nobody's trying to go to them games. The real fans gonna go to the games, but
fact, talk your stuff.
You fake fans, you people that really wouldn't. Y'all just wanted to be here and argue for Caitlin, and we know why I wanted to argue for Caitlin. Y'all not finna watch the game. Y'all not finna watch the W no more, man. So now I can get my tickets at the price that they're supposed to be. My little $10, $20 tickets, sit pretty much down there on the court and watch them hoop. Because I'm telling you, my Wings, we had a bad year. We probably not gonna make the playoffs, but next year when we get Paige,
Paige Beggars and Enrique gonna feed families, bro.
Paige, Enrique, Satu.
If she don't go somewhere though. I seen rumors already.
She's gonna stay in the D, man.
I seen rumors already talking about going to Indiana after she talked about Caitlin. In such high regards.
I do want to end the pod on a bad note. All right.
Well, I'm not trying to.
Let's get out of here.
All right. Here we go, as always, Brody.
We hope you enjoyed that episode. Stay up to date with Mose Knows by subscribing to Cory Mose on YouTube or simply searching Mose Knows on Spotify or Apple Music. Thanks for listening and have a great week.